Hey guys, welcome back to The Divine Witch, and as the title suggests, we are going to do a book review today. It is on the book called Voodoo, From Beginner to Expert. Now, with anything that you read or you watch, you're never going to learn everything from just one book. So, it's kind of one of those books that gives you the beginning lessons and then goes more into depth the longer you go into it. So always remember, you're not going to learn everything in just one book, but we are going to go over this book and its content. So for the first 3 chapters that we go into, chapter 1 is getting to know the essence of voodoo. Chapter 2, understanding the nature of voodoo practice. 3 was preparing yourself for spells and rituals. Now, within the first 3 chapters, you're going to learn the background of voodoo itself, the practice, how Christianity got mixed in with the Haitian voodoo practice itself, how it's expanded throughout the years, along with how many different practices and methods and religions have been mixed in with it, along with dismaying any of the Hollywood stereotype, going into the Loa, going into Papa Legba, and showing what the truth is versus what you think you know. Now, I know a lot of people out there love American Horror Story, and unfortunately, like most entertainment, it's embellished. So you gotta kind of, take it with a grain of salt. But within the book, it goes over all of that. It also goes throughout the history of it within the first 3 chapters. And that's more of the beginning guide to it. Let me help my camera guy here. Here we go. We're back to me. Yay, because he keeps them going up, and we're going to see the ceiling soon. So in the 4th chapter, it's understanding and using voodoo oils. Now, a lot of magical practices have different oils that they'll use. Purification oils, hexing oils, healing oils. And this kind of goes more in depth on what type of oils you'll see within this practice, how to make some of them. It doesn't tell you all of them. And of course, like most books suggest, it's better for you to actually... Sorry guys, my camera is about to die, so hold on 1 second. Hey guys, so we are back. So like I was saying, there's so many different types of oils out there, and most of them are going to tell you to make it yourself. Don't go buy it, which that's with anything, because it's your own energy actually going into it. You're picking the herbs, you're putting more time into it. Of course, it's going to always be better than something that you bought either by someone on Etsy or at your local Wiccan shop or witch shop, whatever you want to call it. So what I would suggest is, if you do buy your oils, before you use them, put a lot of your energy into them. Even though you didn't make them, it will still help with your rituals, your spell work, whatever you may be using them for at that time. Now, 5 was understanding and using voodoo candles and powders. Now, with most magical practices, once again, you have different types of candles and powders that you use, and different ways of dressing them, different symbols for different things, different colors for different association depending on what spell work that you're doing, along with powders as well is one of the main things within voodoo and hoodoo practices. Is the powders. You got eggshell powders, you've got hexing powders. It's just like your oils, but it's in more of a powdered concentrated form. And you can use these powders in mojo bags. You can use these powders when you're doing hot foot powder, where somebody's got to walk past it, for the spell to actually work. So when it comes to things like this, you have different religions have different things. So when it comes to candle dressing, if you're dressing it with oils, if you want to bring something in, you're going to stroke down. If you're wanting something to go out into the world, you're going to stroke up. No pun intended. But that's just how it is. It's hard not to laugh while saying that, but you get what I'm saying. Now, On chapter 6 is learning basic voodoo spells. This is where you start to get more into the expert, or more of not a beginner, but that good in between spot, you know? And by the way, I'm looking at my tablet so I can accurately describe this book, because let's be honest, I'm not going to remember everything. Okay. So this is where you start to get into different types. It goes more into like your cleansing, your ritual baths. By the way, ritual baths is in every magical religion that is there. There's some type of purification before any ritual, any spell work, or just to cleanse yourself, because so much energy that you get throughout the day, and it may be negative, and it can interfere with your spell work. So learning the basics, like they'll go through the candles like in the previous chapter, and you'll see a lot of jumping back and forth when it comes to this book. So if you didn't pay attention, later in the book, you're going to wish that you did, or you're just going to have to go back and, you know, figure out the color association. Because there's different colors association with different spirits that you're going to be working with, or different spell work as well. So you're going to notice a lot of that's going to be brought up. A lot of what oils you need, what herbs you need. It's just like a recipe book. In the beginning, you get the basics, and then when you get into the actual recipe itself, then you're starting to pull all that information in. Now, advanced spells for protection. Now, they got spells for protection, revenge, love, and healing, and other spells. This is chapters 7 through 11. So this is when you really start to dive in, and you also learn that voodoo dolls are more than just, you know, back in the day, witches of Eastwick, where they're just sitting there jabbing. You know, you go more into the color association with your different pens. You go into the different cloths, the different colors of cloth to use, what your intent is. Are you stuffing stuff on the inside, or are you pinning it to the outside, depending on what you're doing? So you learn a lot of that within these chapters. Now, in the beginning, it talks about how voodoo practice is an open practice. It's not like one of those ones where a lot of people are going to tell you, oh, you can't do this because blah, blah, blah. You'll get that in a lot of other religions where they want you to learn first. A lot of people say voodoo is one of those ones that you can come in and get it right off the bat. Whether I believe that or not, I don't. I believe that you need to gather information before you start putting things out there, because then you're going to have stuff backfire. And if you don't do it right, and maybe you call it the wrong spirit, or you disrespected a spirit while you're trying to use them, it's not going to work out quite as well. Thank you. Can you tilt down? Just a tad bit. Thanks. Yeah, you can see the shadow. But anyway, so it's going to go through a lot of that. It's going to go through free will and love spells, revenge, certain things that you can do to fight the karmatic effect, to protect yourself, such as protection oils, cleansing baths, having a reason. And one of the things that they do talk about in this book is it's one thing to want to teach a lesson. And once that lesson has been received, the work ends, the spell work ends. But if it's one that just continues to go and, you know, no outcome, no learning whatsoever, it may be, by the way, I got kids, so if you hear them in the background, I apologize, because, yeah, they're kids, so it happens. So, you know, you're going to get a lot into that as far as healing. There's so many different ones for healing. And then the last chapter, that's everything in between. They go through money spells, they go through winning a court battle, common things that you mostly hear about. That's what they go into. So as far as the book itself and my review over it, I think it's great for a beginner. It goes through all the bases really quick, but it covers them very well. Now, you can get this book right now, because I got a Kindle. I'm kind of like newer age on as far as books, unless there's a book that I really just want to hold and have. But as far as books go, on this one, I think it's like $2.99 if you order it on paperback. and it's free on Kindle Unlimited right now, so you can read it for free. I honestly recommend it. From 1 to 5 stars, I would at least give it a 4. The only reason I give it a 4 is just for the reason there's some things that's really touch and go, and I don't think it came over very well on the page when you're reading it. Because if you were going to read something and then decide that you want to do that, but there's a little snippet missing from it, then it's not going to turn out quite right. So that's the only issue that I had with this book. Hopefully you guys like the review. If you do, go out there, get the book, look at it. Even if it's not a path you follow, you might actually find something that you can use within your path in everyday life. Once again, guys, thanks and bye-bye.